Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we review anything and everything. And today we're actually getting into an older set. I have mentioned this set before in the channel in the past about having it and you could use its parts for certain things, like everything that's in it could be used to build a cafe or something like that. I've mentioned that in the past on the channel, but I never actually showed it because this set was maybe even a little bit before I think I started the channel when I actually had this. So this is set 60283 Holiday Camper Van. It's 190 pieces. It's a 5+ set. And I actually purchased this for my kids as their first Lego set, or one of the first Lego sets. I got them in a cluster of Lego sets between this and a few other ones. But essentially it was the first within that pile of first Lego sets that I ever got my kids. And I actually bought it for them before they were even 5. So of course they weren't able to fully get into that level of building it, but I wanted to introduce them to Legos. So me buying this set now, it just not long ago went from $15 to because it's been 15 for a very long time, to its original retail price of $20 on Amazon. I'm going to put a link in the description down below. So even though it's gone up in price, it's still not a bad price because it's what its retail price was. But the reason why I purchased this is out of nostalgia. So obviously what I just explained to you is why it's for me, it's kind of like a sentimental set. And so I wanted to get it before it's off the market, and they're about to release. And I was already thinking about that before, but then I saw they're releasing a new holiday camper van. So I actually purchased that as well, and that one's on the way. But I definitely wanted to be able to have this as a nostalgia factor because it is the first Lego set I ever purchased for my kids. So with that being said, it's definitely a really nice set. It gives you a lot that comes with it. And you're going to see over the years that there was a camper van before this, before I actually got back into Legos. And there was a camper set that was very similar to this before it. But now they have a newer one coming after it. So apparently it's a thing where every couple of years they make a new camper van. And some people probably collect all the different ones. So this was really the first one that I actually started with for my kids. And even though all the pieces are there for it, it's already in pieces mostly. So rather than try to figure out building it together, and I'd rather them just be able to play with that version in its scattered pieces as they build different things with it, rather leave that to them as opposed to repair it and put it in my own little Lego setup. So here you go. It kind of tells you what the features are. You have the sleeping area at top. It only fits one person though. You have the interior that slides open from the side, even though you can remove the roof. And it has 2 seats. It has like a coffee machine in the back, a whole bunch of food in here, like donuts and pastries and whatnot. Enough, like I said in a previous video, to make your own little coffee stand, either a mobile coffee stand or even a, take this apart and it could be the beginning of a little like, store. You use these parts to build like a cafe. Enough stuff in here to build like a cafe, as far as the coffee machine, cups, and the what's the thing of the pastries and the food and stuff like that. So yeah, there's enough of all that stuff to go around for you to do that. Even eggs and a if I'm not mistaken, croissants inside this thing as well. Yeah, there you go. So yes, so we're gonna unbox this and we are going to get into the build. Like I said, this is always going to be an important set to me, and having it in my small Lego city, it's always going to be something that's special to me. So, okay, so we have one piece that just comes out of it already. You've got one bag. That's the base. Instructions, your stickers. There's really not a lot. And this time, actually, I know that's bag 2. So there's 2 bags, and it's only, like I said, 190 pieces. I know of better methods now of applying the stickers. So I think the stickers should be even better applied than they were the first time that I did them, because now I know to use a tweezer is one of the best ways you could do it. Well, I've seen some people use the brick removal tool as well, but I definitely love using the tweezers. So with that being said, we are going to quickly put this together and then we'll be back with the review. All right, you guys, we are back with the finished build. Now, what I have the mom figure and the baby figure already inside the set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first kind of show things with them in it and then take them out as we go over them. But that way you kind of see them in their places already, since I already had them in there. But first I just want to say the leftover pieces. So I'm going to put this aside for a second. And These are all the leftover pieces if you're able to see them. And this is why at one point I said, I'm going to reiterate it again, that this set is great for a couple of things if you wanted to use it for alternative build. If you wanted to use it for a house setup, say if you had a couple of loose bricks, maybe a nice little base, and you wanted to build like a house, and you were like, I need a couple things to build into the interior of the house. This gives you everything you need to build an interior to the house. Just the extras alone, you see, you get a little canister top, which if you have any kind of cylinder piece, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be clear, because clear kind of indicates like water or maybe whatever, sports drink. I've put this on brown ones, like a kind of dark brown ones, similar to you have on the tree colors of Lego, you know, the brick build tree colors, as a coffee kind of thing. And I put that in my my own personal coffee shop that I had built up. And you got here like an egg. You've got a little white one, which you could use for something else. If a white one is next to other things that are, you know, pastries, it could, you know, appear to be a pastry if you do that. You got a strawberry type of cookie or pastry or cake, and then you got a donut. And these are just the extra pieces. And obviously you got a bunch of these other little things too, which you could use for that, but those are extras. So I feel like they're actually really good extras. They're not just extras that you can't use for things. Now, let me open this up first really quickly. And matter of fact, we'll go over the mail first, and we'll open everything up. Then we'll go over the other figures once I get to them. So I know it's kind of not the normal way it's done, but here you see him with the croissant in his hand I have, and that's a great piece to have part of the set. You see him in his camping kind of gear. So that's kind of nice. The printing on the back. Now this figure doesn't have a double face print, only the mom does for like sleeping. So it kind of indicates that the dad is driving the whole time. Now this is not a, you know, now that they just released the new holiday camper van, which is $10 more than what the base price of this was. Like I said before, I'm gonna have the link in the description for this. The original price for this is, or retail price is $20. It used to be at $15 for a long period of time. It's now going back up to the $20 because it's starting to become harder to obtain. The thing about it though is that I feel like you get a good amount even for the $20, even though the new one now is even larger and more spacious. But it's nice that, you know, with this one they fit it into this size space, and like I said, at 190 pieces. So I still think it's a great set, especially if you want to have multiple camper sets over the years, because some people start collecting them as a line, like, okay, every year that they do make one, I get that, I'll purchase that. So I'll start with the top here before we kind of go into anything else. This is the bed setup. Now it's enough to fit just one, the baby and one person sleeping. It can't fit both, unfortunately, two people side by side, but you know, at the least, could it fit two people? I really don't think so, even if you try to like push it. I got his hands up right there, but we'll try later on the video. But I think years back when I first purchased the set for my kids, like you couldn't. But so it's one person can sleep at a time, but at least you have the sleeping area. They do it on the top part, which is fine. If you want, you could imagine in your mind that this is accessible from like inside up top, rather than that you're pulling this off like this. But you know, some of the camper vans have it where it's in like the upper section and it's accessible from the interior. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this whole thing off, because this comes off pretty easily. Grab it from the back though, because if you grab it from the top, it's gonna come off. But here you can see the printing. We're gonna go over the whole thing in a moment. Matter of fact, let's go over the whole thing first, the angles of the outside, before we start getting into interior. So it's a nice build. You have the stickers for the license plate, side doors, a lot of windows. And like I said before, if a person wanted to use this for alternative build for a tiny house, whatever, you've got windows here, you've got walls, whatever the case is. If you want to turn this thing, alternatively, I mentioned before, into a little coffee stand, you could do that too. Don't put the stickers on it, maybe modify a few things. You could turn it into a coffee stand because it has so many different food parts in it, coffee machine, all that other stuff, which we're going to get into in a moment. If you wanted to turn it into a tiny home, you could do that as well, even though obviously a mobile home is, or, you know, RV is essentially a tiny home on wheels, but you get the idea. So taking this off here, it's going to give us access to see it a lot better. You can see at the front there, You've got the coffee mug. Sorry, I don't know how well you guys can see this. So I know the focusing is a little off because it's a tight spot. You got a little coffee mug. You got the driver dashboard, which I think that piece is really nice. And it sits one person, but I realized too that a person could modify this to fit two side by side. And at the time, I don't think that was a big thing they were doing, because in this year I've seen that a lot with a couple of the jungle sets, with a couple other sets, even for 2025. I'm sorry, last year I meant, but for 2025, I'm seeing that too with the new camper van and whatnot. And it's also the same width, even like a 4x4 off-road, and it has the same width and it has that setup. I bought a couple of jumper plates that would allow me to makeshift this into that. The only thing is I'd have to remove that blue bar there, so that way the doors will be able to close, and it'd be a little bit of a change, but it can be done to turn this into a dual front seated vehicle. So, but anyway, this opens up on the side here, which is great to give you easy access, say if you left the roof on. And let me move this out the way, but I feel like it's focusing too much on the other stuff. Quick look at the baby. Very simple. So here, as I take things out, because I stuffed all the stuff in, one negative I'm gonna say is a lot of these things, let me just dump it out. A lot of these things that are in here, like these, are extras for if it's like, say you have a camp. What did I do with the egg? Did I lose the egg? There we go. Now that's for like when they're camping outside, like they come outside of their the camper van and obviously the camera, but you would have that setup, and the chair setup is removable too to take out. But the thing about it is, like you see on the box, I'm not gonna take this out, but I'll just show you how they have it on the box real quick to show you that all those things are removable. You could take out the seat, the chairs, the little coffee stand setup, and obviously the little grill. So the only negative I'm gonna say is you can't really store these things inside there. You just saw how I had it in there. If you kind of rewind back to that portion of the video and you saw how I had it in there, that's kind of really the only way that you could store things. You just throw them inside the seat area, just throw them around. So that part is not great. But then also too, because you have those kind of side dips and it's not like a flat area, which a person could mod it if they wanted to do that. But essentially, because of that being the case, things get stuck down there when they do fall in there. But I'm gonna take the mom out now. I got the bottle in her hand. She's in this kind of little jumpsuit, basic pants, not a big deal. And you can see her face there. And then this is her sleeping face. This is for her to be able to put on and then have the baby in her. Little travelable, whatever you call this, travel harness. Yeah, that sounds about right. And drop the baby in there, right there. So you have that. Nice little green camera, though recently I discovered I'm less of a fan of all these different colored cameras, because when you have the black ones, if you start modifying them with like two cylinder pieces to make it look like they have longer lenses and this and that, it fits better with the body than you having a traditional looking lens of like black with the little lens cap on it, and then the rest of your camera is green. It's just kind of funny, even though it still could work, but it's a little funny. So once again, so what we have in the inside, we have the donut and another strawberry one. So like I said, you have extra, which is great. You could just fill the whole top with that if you want, the whole table with that. But then it just looks like the table's just, it may not feel like a table because it's completely covered in pastries. The little coffee machine set up over there. Now, it's not the easiest to take out. It's supposed to be able to come out. It's not too hard because it's only on 2 studs, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. See, so they try to make it where it's a little bit easier to come out, but you just got to hope that the pieces that you have on it doesn't fall out. And this little build right here, I just think was really nice. I know it's really small, but it's a very simple build for the coffee machine. You got the mug. You already got the other mug in the front. Sorry for the focusing once again. I'll move that out of the way. And you got the little water bottle. So it just takes this 1x4 brick. It's very simple. It's a very simple setup, but to me, it looks so nice. A very simple coffee machine setup. The later one is a little more sophisticated, but I think this does a great job with just these minimal parts and really looks great, like I said. And then when you have everything outside and you're doing the whole camping setup, you really have everything you need. So I really like that. Obviously, the pink cup is probably hers and the yellow one is his. I love the fact that the roof comes on and off very easy. And even if you had this on, you could see that seeing the inside is not hard at all with this flap, the way it works. So I think that part is really awesome. It has a hitch on the back. You can buy these pieces individually and create your own, a little wagon. But as far as I know, there's not some kind of wagon that just comes out there that you could buy for it. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, I really actually like this build. Very sentimental to me, but I really like it. I'm glad I picked up another one because even though I could have put together the other one that I bought for my kids, I actually just wanted them to, even though it's broken in pieces, I wanted them to be able to keep those to play for themselves when they free build. And, as a kid, one of the best things back in the days having Lego was free building the things you wanted to build. You weren't so much into the sets. You were more into just building it the way you wanted to build. And they're kind of in that phase. So I didn't want to take that away from them. So purchased this one for myself. I may end up modding it. I don't know, because if I do, because I don't have blue plates, I'm going to end up having to use like black 2x2 right here where this is. You'd have to use a 1x2 plate. Here you would use a 1x1 stud plate, 1x1 plate or stud. Here I would have going across the jumper, the ones it's like a 3x1 with the 2 feet holes on there. I'm going to show you one right now. So one of these right here. So I have 4 of these. So if you have 4 of them, essentially, what you would do if you wanted to make this that is you'd have to take this and you'd have to get rid of this, because that way the door could close over this smooth piece. So like I said, you'd have where the door hinge is, you'd have a 1x1 plate. You'd have, or you could use a stud, it's fine. Which just is circular, I guess you could say, a 1x1 circular plate, if you want to call it that. Some people just call it a stud. But anyway, here would be nothing, because this piece right here would be going across from this base brown piece to that middle piece. That will make the driver sit up a little higher, but I still think there's enough clearance for him without there being a problem, so that wouldn't be an issue. And then here you would have just another 1x1 plate that you would put here. So essentially what you're doing is just trying to get rid of this space right here to be empty. So that way you could put 2 of these going across the middle. I'll just put this down here to simulate what it would be, but obviously it wouldn't be on top of this blue piece. It would be on the brown, but it would look like that. And then you'd have another one going across that side. You'd have another one going in front of it, and then covering that whole spot just like that. And that's how you would do it. The doorway would be there, and essentially the guy would be able to sit like this, and then the door would close. Though I'm seeing already, I thought he'd have enough clearance. I actually don't think he has enough clearance now. Oh, well, he's actually sitting on top. Like I said, that's slightly elevated. It would be a plate shorter, because it would be taking that place of that, which then would, maybe it would be able to fit across there. I don't think it would be a problem. Let's see how high a plate is. So maybe he will be able to fit. I'm not 100% sure, but nonetheless, yeah, that would be the way to do it. if you were to do that. So I just want to put that out there. But anyway, like I said, I do really like this this set a lot. And you know, the one that's replacing it might seem better, but for those who just want this or for nostalgia reasons, I definitely think it's something that's worth picking up. Now, what I want to do real quick is see, like I said before, can 2 fit inside here? I don't think so, but let's just give it a shot anyway. This has to be removed. This has to be removed. I'll put it like this so you guys can kind of see. And no. Now, maybe if I lift his arm up a little bit, will that make a difference? And if they sit in just the right spot, but I doubt it. Nope, it's not gonna work. Almost, but it's not gonna work. But you know what's interesting is I'm pretty sure that if someone wanted to, it wouldn't be hard to modify this entire thing to do that. And the reason why I say that is because this right here is all empty. So if you change this up in some way, you could do that. One thing I just thought about too, actually, that's actually nice, is if a person had put jumper plates on this, this could also be extra cargo storage, which actually would be nice, because then you could take all this stuff here, which I think I'm going to do that, and put that there. And it would be cargo. So that's awesome. I mean, you can use it as cargo as is now, and it's not a big deal. But if it had the jumper plates, it'd be even easier for you to take on and off whenever you want. All right, you guys, this video has definitely dragged on too long, but as always, you guys like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.